Hey, welcome back to Work-Life Harmony. Now, you guys know I love a good weekly plan, but I'm here to tell you it is actually possible to over plan. Now, I see this happening usually in one of two scenarios. So I want to kind of talk through when we tend to over plan and then really zero in on some signs that you want to look for that might be telling you that you're over planning and then what you can do about it. So the two cases where I tend to see people over plan is scenario one, for those of you that are brand new to weekly planning. Maybe you've been operating from that daily task list mode forever, and you're now leaning into creating intentional plans. And what can happen sometimes is we get so excited that we swing the pendulum from one side all the way to the other, and we start planning like every second of every day. So that's the first time where I will see people over plan. The second, and this is very subtle, is we all go through different stages of life. At least I know I do, and so many of the women in my program, where we feel things kind of spiraling out of control. Maybe we've had a big schedule change, a shift, something new has entered our life, something has left our life, and we feel very out of control. And one of the reactions that we can fall into, or behaviors that we can fall into when we feel that lack of control, is to start trying to control what we can, which leads to over planning. I know for me, that is something I always have to watch out for, because when that feeling of being out of control is uncomfortable for me. So that is an area where I know I'm always being cautious to not over plan. So what do I mean when I talk about over planning? It's one of two things. It's either you are dictating how every second of your day is going to go, and or both together, you have something planned, like with no breaks in between. That from the minute you wake up to the minute you go to bed, every 30 minutes there is exact activities of you being in motion, meaning there is something you are checking off. Yes, I got this done every single second of every day. Now, here are some signs that I want you to look for to help you understand if you are over planning. And then we're going to talk about what you can do about it. So sign number one, and the one that's going to be easiest to spot, is simply this. If you find yourself in a place in life where if an unexpected thing pops up, life throws you a curveball, you had plans and now they're canceled and you're not going to be able to do what you thought you were going to be able to do. If that happens, and it completely derails your entire week, meaning that domino effect, right? Okay, well, I told myself from 9 to 10, I was getting this one thing done. And now I just got a phone call and I have to go do something else for an hour. And you see that the only way that you're going to get that, that task done that you were supposed to do during that hour is to stay up an hour later or wake up an hour earlier. That is a sign to you that you are definitely over planning, because you're not building in any wiggle room into your schedule. Now, a second sign, there's three, a second sign that you could be over planning is if you look at your plan and just the looking at it causes you anxiety and stress. If you are looking at your plan already thinking, I don't see any I don't even begin to think that this is actually going to get done, then you're definitely over planning. Now, we all have those weeks where we might look at it and go, ooh, this is kind of a full week, but I'm talking about this repeated behavior of you look at your week and go, there's no way. Then you're definitely over planning and likely over committing. Now, the third sign that you are over planning is if you are constantly in a place of playing catch up. So, on the first half of Friday, you're trying to catch up from everything that didn't get done on Thursday. Then on Saturday, you're trying to catch up from what didn't get done for the week. And on Sunday, you're trying to catch up from Saturday, so on and so forth, where you feel like every day is filled with the things that were supposed to be done prior to today. Then that is a sign that you are actually over planning as well. So what are some strategies that we can put in place to make sure that we are not over planning? First and foremost is to make sure that you have white space or open time in your days every single day, meaning you are not booking yourself from the minute you wake up to the minute you go to bed with tasks and being in motion. We can't be at an appointment from 9 to 10 and a meeting from 10 to 11, and then, scheduled to get these 10 tasks done from 11 to 12, and then from 12 to 1 in another meeting. And we cannot have a day that moves like that, because the minute one thing happens, then it has that catastrophic domino effect that completely makes everything fall apart. So learning to proactively plan in that white space, and that is actually one of the steps in my advanced weekly planning, is learning the right way to schedule in what I call that buffer space or that white space. When you look at my weekly plan, it looks like every minute is accounted for, but a lot of the time blocks on my weekly plan is actually having that buffer space. And the amount that you plan in varies based on what stage of life that you are in. Now, another way to really help you from being overplanned is, after you've done your weekly plan, is to go back and look at it and identify how many things in your plan are like top priority urgents. For those of you that have done the prioritization matrix, you know about the quadrants 1, 2, 3, and 4. Quadrant 1 is urgent and important. If the vast majority of your plan are all things sitting in quadrant 1, and you're never getting to focus on the things in quadrant 2, then that means that you are over planning. And this is a sign for you that it's time for you to go back and really reassess your priorities and get a realistic view on exactly how much time you have in your days. When we know, hey, my budget for today is I have 5 hours, that really helps us better to understand what are my real priorities, because everything can't be a 1 all the time. That's often a sign, again, you're overcommitting, you're over planning, but that you aren't getting a realistic assessment of your priorities as well. So I wanted to have, this conversation right now. I think it's really timely for a lot of us as we are wrapping up the school year and heading into the summer months, where our schedules start to potentially look and feel very different. Is make sure that you're coming into this transition with the awareness of, are you over planning? Are you overcommitting? And really tune into, how are things going on a daily and weekly basis? Are you constantly playing catch up? When life throws you a curveball, does everything fall apart and it's really hard to recover? Do the plans that you've created leave you feeling stressed out before you've even started? If so, this is a sign that you're likely over planning, and it's time to take that step back. So I hope you all can join me in creating realistic, not over planned weeks, and I will see you again next week.